Winning a war fundamentally requires having soldiers who are willing to fight for their cause. Yet it seems Vladimir Putin never received that crucial lesson. Russia's president appears to believe that he can mask the harsh realities and brutalities of the conflict in Ukraine simply by offering enormous financial incentives. Despite these promises of lucrative pay, Russian soldiers are increasingly refusing to continue fighting. They want to quit, and Putin has failed to persuade them that sacrificing their lives for his so-called special military operation is worthwhile. This refusal has led to widespread mass surrenders within the Russian ranks, signaling a loss of control over his own troops. As a result, Ukraine is gaining a significant strategic advantage as the war moves deeper into 2026. On December 31st, United 24 Media released data from Ukraine's coordination headquarters responsible for the treatment of prisoners of war, which quietly slipped under the radar as 2025 came to a close. This data revealed a staggering number of Russian soldiers captured since Putin's full-scale invasion began. More strikingly, 2025 recorded the highest number of Russian surrenders yet. The tally of captured Russian soldiers has now exceeded 10,000 in less than 4 years, a figure so large that it demands an explanation. Throughout this article, we will explore some of the reasons behind this phenomenon. However, the most significant factor appears to be Ukraine's innovative initiative aimed at encouraging Russian soldiers to surrender, regardless of their position on the battlefield. This initiative, known as I Want to Live, exemplifies the creativity Ukraine has demonstrated since Putin launched his expansionist war. I Want to Live presents an incredibly tempting offer to any Russian soldier wishing to exit the conflict. Visiting the project's dedicated website, one immediately notices multiple communication channels designed for Russian soldiers to connect with the program. Among these options is a chatbot embedded on the site, a link to a Telegram channel, and a Contact Us page where soldiers can send messages directly to their prospective Ukrainian captors. This ease of communication forms the core genius behind the entire concept. Ukraine is not only offering a peaceful route to surrender, but is making it as straightforward and accessible as possible for Putin's troops to abandon the fight. The process requires nothing more than a simple message, which triggers the surrender procedures quickly and efficiently. I Want to Live also makes numerous assurances to those who choose to give themselves up. Foremost among these promises is strict adherence to the Geneva Conventions regarding prisoner treatment. This pledge alone is a significant draw, as it often surpasses the conditions many Russian soldiers experience in their own military service. The program guarantees detainees decent living conditions, 3 meals a day, medical care, and the ability to maintain contact with their families. Such assurances make surrender an increasingly attractive option for Russian troops facing dire circumstances. Reports from December, although sensationalized and not entirely verified, claimed that some Russian soldiers were so desperate and hungry that they contemplated cannibalizing their comrades. This shocking allegation underscores the grim realities of the food situation for Russia's military in Ukraine, which is reportedly dire and insufficient. I Want to Live leverages this very desperation, offering a lifeline to soldiers trapped in untenable conditions. Beyond immediate surrender, the program provides options for the captured soldiers' futures. They can choose to return to Russia through prisoner exchange programs, or alternatively, seek refuge in Ukraine or another European country once the war concludes. This means that many Russian soldiers are not simply surrendering, they are actively escaping Putin's grasp altogether. In fact, it was I Want to Live that publicized the data shared by United 24 Media through a Telegram post, highlighting the increasing trend of Russian soldiers surrendering. The numbers paint a clear picture. The rate of Russian surrenders is rising year after year. The Telegram statement revealed that in 2025 alone, more Russian servicemen were captured than in the combined totals of 2022 and 2023. On average, between 60 and 90 Russian soldiers surrender weekly, with the number peaking at 350 per week in August 2024. This dramatic increase signifies a critical breakdown in morale and control within Putin's armed forces. Vladimir Putin's inability to maintain the loyalty and fighting spirit of his troops is a profound vulnerability in his war effort. The mass surrenders not only weaken his military capacity, but also send a powerful message to the world about the internal challenges facing Russia's campaign. The I Want to Live program embodies Ukraine's strategic ingenuity, combining psychological operations with humanitarian principles to encourage defections and reduce enemy resistance. As 2026 approaches, the continuing rise in Russian soldier surrenders could prove pivotal in shifting the balance of power in the conflict. Putin's failure to keep his soldiers committed is a critical factor that Ukraine is exploiting to push back against the invasion. Ultimately, the story of Russian soldiers surrendering en masse reveals much about the realities on the ground and the limits of Putin's influence over his forces. Monetary incentives and propaganda cannot overcome the harsh conditions and the desire for survival among the troops. Ukraine's innovative approach, epitomized by the I Want to Live initiative, showcases how blending compassion with strategic savvy can change the dynamics of modern warfare. As the war drags on, the continued erosion of Russian troop morale and the increasing number of surrenders represent a major hurdle for Putin's military ambitions and a beacon of hope for Ukraine's resilience.